Well guys, pardon the commotion, it's 4th of July weekend, and I've got a bunch of doofuses outside trying to launch my neighborhood into orbit. In this installment, I want to talk about failing skies, or as TNT calls it, fallen skies. Even though the skies have really fallen around the humans, the aliens are already here, taking over, wiping out humanity left and right, enslaving kids, the whole shish kebab. I think we're on episode 4 now, week 3. First there was the 2-part thing, and really there's no concrete good reason to watch the show unless you want to learn how to not make a show. This is step-by-step instructions on how to make a bad TV show is really what it boils down to. Why am I making this video? Well, a couple things. As you can see, I've got a new camera and it kicks butt. So you're probably more interested in hearing about that. If you guys show some interest, maybe I'll get into that at some point. The show, however, has sent me some promotional items, and I'm supposed to be influencing people into watching it. And so I'm in the Army of Influence. If I win the Army of Influence challenge on Twitter, which you're going to have to follow me at Vaughn on Movies on Twitter, and I suppose you just favorite and retweet my messages that contain the Army of Influence hashtag, it's weird, you'll see what I'm talking about. And whoever gets most of those retweeted or whatever is going to win a walk-on role on Falling Skies. There's a good chance that that walk-on role will never really be handed out because the show will surely get canceled first. Anyways, I want to see if I can get on the show. No one ahead of me is actually more popular, so I could probably win this. I'm just going to need a little bit of help from you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to try to watch. Yes, I am taking the blunt of all the force for you guys. Okay, I'll watch the show so you don't have to. I'm going to try to watch the show and maybe make a little video blog entry after each episode. I'm not saying they're going to be good, just they're going to be something to hopefully spread my influence. And if I get up the ranks, maybe it'll get a little bit interesting and I can win the walk-on role, hand a guy a rifle and just be gone, whatever. I'd rather be a walk-on writer because this show is so poorly written. Like, you could make a reasonable argument that Falling Skies is the worst TV show in the history of television. Thus far, all that's happened is, let's see. The show started out with the invasion already going down. We now know that the Skitters communicate via radio signal. That's all we really learned this episode. They have a Skitter, and this is one of the aliens in the show. They have one captured, okay? And it's yelling out in the interference on the radio. And that's really about it. I think that they found a B-movie script somewhere. Then they said, hey, Spielberg, you want to make this in a TV show, it'll just be a cash grab, don't worry about it, you don't give me that try. And they're just stretching it out because there's really no material here. The good guys, Noah Wiley plays this history teacher who is always talking about being a history teacher because since we never saw people before the invasion, they have to always remind us about what they do. I think we may have actually gone a whole episode without him talking about history. Or no, wait. He might have said something about it, about human shields or something. They had to find a way for him to be a historian. Like, that was helpful. He goes with the rebel leader sort of guy, this guy named Pope, who is your typical uneducated Southern rascal, so that the people writing for the newspapers can say this is a good show because it shows how stupid the uneducated are, so therefore it supports their whole argument. Alright, so that anything good about the show is to get some kind of subtext like that tied to it. Pope, who by the way is the cook for the 2nd Massachusetts Army that we're stuck with the entire show, the most boring army you'd ever be installed with, like in any circumstance. These guys never fight anything. They never have anything interesting to say other than, well, with all that you've gone through, you sure you're okay, Missy? Like, yeah, no one else went through anything else. I'm sure glad you're bringing this up, like there's not an audience watching. Pope goes and convinces them to go get some motorcycles. They find some aliens on the way, talk about how they're sleeping. Don't disturb them, I'm going to blow them up. Then they don't blow them up. They get the motorcycles. Pope hits a guy over the head, takes off. He blows up these aliens, and now I guess that's alerted them of their presence. Even though they're like maybe half a mile away, that now the aliens are now alerted to the resistance moving around, which, by the way, is just stupid. They're moving around in the daylight, and I guess the aliens are just like, maybe they're like the Borg, and they're kind of like, you know what, these guys aren't a threat, so we're not even going to send a search party until they blow up something. Then we're going to hit them. Well, aliens show up, and we got these kids with these things that are on their back, okay, if you haven't been keeping up, and it's just such a horrible design because the stuff is like in their shirt, okay? So, like, if I'm an alien, do I go and implant something, then put the shirt on the kid? Like, well, we got to keep you warm, so get that shirt on. Instead of it being over it, which would be like, you know what, someone who is talented at maybe costume design probably would have thought of, because the aliens are not going to care about removing clothes and then maybe stretching the clothes out to put them back on. They're just going to be like bolted straight on, right? So, yeah, you can see the fail behind Falling Skies. Explosion goes off, aliens come here to get the good guys, alright? What do you do? Well, you've got some dirt bikes, you got fuel in them. I guess you create a diversion so you don't have to shoot kids. So you make a diversion off over this way, okay? And then maybe you're going to want to go that way, right? You're going to want to go in the direction that all the guys are shooting over here. Go in the opposite direction, sure. Nope. You blow up a truck, and then you drive right by the truck, hoping that the kids' reaction time is so bad that they somehow don't even notice you. And it worked. That's your action for week 3, episode 4 of Falling Skies. Then you got this other thing going on back at the base, which I believe is a high school. They've got an alien captured, and it's reacting to this other alien, seeing it dead, and it takes them the whole episode to find out that the reaction is being picked up over the radio. It takes the humans this long. I've got no faith in humanity if that's the way we really are, you know? So this guy, he's got his son, and his son had been captured, okay? And I don't remember these people's names because let me tell you, character building does not exist here. It's like, hey, I'm a veterinarian. That's my only trait. Hey, I'm a history teacher. Blah. I mean, heck, the history teacher's got this kid with him. He's got like an assault rifle. Now they said he's 16. There's no... When I was 16, I did not look as old as this guy, okay? And this is coming from a guy who had a mustache in his 5th grade yearbook, okay? So now, this one guy, he's a dad. He's concerned. Not even concerned, okay? He's a dad. He's a stock dad. His kid had been captured. They captured him back, so now he's got the thing on his back, right? And they took it off last episode. And now they're just kind of realizing that they took it off. It's so incredibly slow. You've seen soap operas move quicker. the kid is reacting weird because the alien's around, and the kid puts the thing back on him, and when he takes it off this time, it doesn't kill him, and they had a problem with removing the harnesses, okay, killing the kids. And nothing comes of this, like, at all. The dad had been pressuring the alien into reacting, like, hey, tell me why you're here. Okay, first of all, these things have been speaking English the whole time, right? That, of course, doesn't fly very well. He says, point at something and make a sound, or I'm going to shoot you. Like, what if it does? Like, does that bring up anything interesting at all? No, it sure as heck doesn't. And the part that really baffles me about this is, it's on this episode that this guy says, well, my son, if I remember correctly, he had some kind of condition and he had to be on a machine twice a day. But you're saying he's cured now because of that harness the aliens put on him? He surely would have caught on that the kid had been cured by this device if this whole time he'd been looking for his son and he's still alive. And the lack of going to that machine that he'd been going to twice a day to clean his lungs, somehow he's still alive, ergo he must be cured of whatever his lung condition was, okay? And now he'd been sitting at this makeshift hospital room for like a day without using this machine that's keeping him alive twice a day. And it takes him a day or so afterwards, and he's like, well, you're saying he's been cured? This is some really garbage writing, guys. At the end of the episode, everybody sits around and eats bread. That's what the cook who fled had made them. It was their going away present. And that was so pointless. People just sitting around talking about bread. Like, well, you better have a piece of bread. Now we better pray. Yeah, this girl who talks about religion, she's got the most going on inside her head of all the other characters. No one else even has the foresight to try to put together any kind of lifestyle. At least she does. And I will tell you this, if I keep making any videos about this, I don't see this getting any better, but you can learn lessons on how to write, create characters and stuff by doing like the opposite of Falling Skies. And if you guys join in and follow me on Twitter, retweet my messages about the show with their special FS incentive sized whatever hashtag, I can get the walk-on roll and hopefully be like the walk-on writer, you know, point out, hey, maybe this would be a good time for this not to happen, sort of stuff, whatever. It's probably going to get canceled. It's really not good. The commercial breaks show the next action sequence. Like, if you didn't think that an alien was going to get killed soon, well, don't worry. When you go to commercial break, presented by Hyundai, you're watching Falling Skies like you didn't know, and here's the next scene before we get to it. And then right before the commercial break comes back to the show, it's like, Falling Skies will start again in 60 seconds. And then you get this 24 style clock. Oh my gosh. Help me out if you want to, okay? Just whatever. And yeah, let me know what you think about the quality of the picture on this Vaughn vlog entry. If you like the way this looks, whatever, I'll give you some more details, all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter though. That's super important. Peace.